Is it too late to sell on Amazon in 2024? In this video, we are covering a full 2024 Amazon fee breakdown. Amazon made some significant changes to their fee structure, and in this video, we're going to do a deep dive of what those changes are, how they impact you, and if it is still worth it to sell on Amazon in 2024. Let's jump right into it. In this video, we are covering the 2024 fee schedule that Amazon has outlined. In a few moments, I'm going to jump onto the screen with you guys and walk through each component of 2024 fee letter that Amazon has released for this year. We're going to go over each of the components of the letter and how they impact you and your business. I've seen a lot of unrest in Facebook groups and on social media about people complaining about the fee structures and how it is going to impact their business negatively. This is what I want to go over, and I also want to cover how this is going to impact my business, how we are making operational shifts to adjust for Amazon's fee increase, and I want to answer the question that everybody asks: is it still worth it to sell on Amazon in 2024? Before we jump into it, if you guys do enjoy these videos, make sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button and notification bell as well if you want to stay up to date on all future content that I put out. And I've just made a new Instagram page, @Sherman_4. So if you guys are watching this video and you enjoy the content that I put out and you're on Instagram and you want to see how I run my business in a more intimate setting, jump over to Instagram now and give @Sherman_4 a follow. I really appreciate the support, guys, and I look forward to continuing to provide you with value and sharing more about my experience in running a 7-figure Amazon business. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, guys, we are inside here. Amazon US referral and fulfillment fee letter. We're going to dive through each component here, go through them in depth, and share how it's going to impact my business, how it can impact your business, and answer that question: is it still worth it to sell on Amazon in 2024? So Amazon just goes on to say that, they start here by saying, ending 2023, we thank you for your continued partnership. They talk about the speeds at which they can get products to the customer, the amount of units that were delivered. So this is all just intro stuff. And as we look to 2024, we will implement fee changes. Now, this is important. After these changes, we expect that sellers will see an average increase of 15 cents in fees per unit sold, which is significantly less than the announced increases by other logistics providers. So this is promising, guys. Everybody is ranting about the challenges that are associated with the fees and how much they're increasing. And yes, there are some components in this letter that are very important because they're going to change the way you run your business to an extent. But on average, Amazon's actually going to be doing, which we'll see in this video, quite a significant fee reduction in some areas, but they're also increasing the fees in other areas. So it's sort of this give and take with Amazon, and the overall net increase they're saying is about 15 cents in fees. And when they compare this to other logistics providers, they are absolutely correct. When you look at like UPS, for instance, we do a lot of shipping through UPS. Yes, we buy our shipping through Amazon, but we also, schedule pickups and use other UPS features. They are increasing their rates, and it's actually quite significant. So Amazon, across the board, a net 15-cent increase in fees is not huge, but yes, there are some impacts here that are going to have an effect on your business. However, we also expect that there are many sellers who will see a decrease on average in fees paid to Amazon per unit sold. Again, this is going to sort of be dependent on how you run your business. Amazon's fulfillment fees will continue to remain an average of 70% less expensive than 2-day shipping methods by other third-party logistics providers. Now we're going to get into some of the fee changes and what all of it means. In particular, we will focus on how we partner together with Inbound and place inventory across our network. Placing inventory close to customers improves the speed of those orders, driving more sales at lower transportation costs. This is important, guys. Amazon, over the years, they have shifted from being a storage company to more so a logistics and shipping company. Amazon is in the business of shipping and getting their products fast to customers. And the more you can align yourself with that, the better you're going to be on their platform and the more they're going to actually reward you for it in the form of reduced fees. And we will see that throughout. So they want to enable the efficiency in their network in order to, so what they're going to do is they're going to begin charging separately for inbound and outbound activities. When we talk about inbound activities, we talk about shipping products into Amazon's fulfillment center. When we talk about outbound, that means Amazon shipping out to the customers. And as a result, we will lower our outbound fees while creating new inbound fees that you can reduce or avoid entirely based on how you inbound our products to us. So again, we're talking about fundamental changes that some of us might have to make in how we run our business. What they're doing here is they're introducing an inbound placement service fee for standard and large bulky size products to reflect our cost of distributing inventory to fulfillment centers close to customers. So if you guys are in Seller Central, you might have seen, when you actually go to buy the shipping, Amazon gives you an option to ship it to multiple locations. And they also might give you an option, ship to multiple locations, and we will give you a fulfillment fee rebate. And what that is they are giving you that discount in fulfillment fees at a later date in order to cater to what they're trying to do, which is dispersing the inventory throughout the country. And you are jumpstarting that by, instead of shipping your inventory directly to one fulfillment center at all times, you're actually kickstarting that process, going along with what Amazon wants in the beginning, and you are shipping it to multiple distribution centers throughout, the US or a certain region. And Amazon is going to reward you for that in a reduction in fee. Now, for us sellers, that might be doing larger volumes, this can get extremely cumbersome shipping to multiple locations. And we'll talk more about that. But when we ship to multiple locations, that means we have to pay our employees more because there's different requirements and you have to box items differently. You can't ship an item on a pallet. Let's say you have 1,000 units going on a pallet, everything's case packed, it's all going to get wrapped up, shipped on a pallet into one DC. Well, now you have to start breaking that up, and to ship multiple pallets to multiple locations is crazy. So the higher volume sellers are likely still going to use the third-party providers, the inventory labs, the 2D workflows, the different third-party providers that are going to allow you to focus on shipping to one location. Now, that's not to say that larger sellers are not going to use the multiple location fulfillment network, but I can tell you from our perspective that it is incredibly cumbersome to start shipping products to multiple different locations in most cases. Are there some scenarios where, yes, we will use that and ship to multiple locations? Yes, there are. But on average, we will likely still be shipping to one location. Now, because of that, for those sellers that are going to be continuing to ship to one location, Amazon is stating that these fees will average 27 cents per unit for standard size products and $1.58 for large bulky size products. So that's something that you have to consider. Is your cost, to pay your employees greater than 27 cents a unit if you are to send your products to multiple locations? Now, this is something that you have to weigh and decide operationally in your business if it actually does make sense to ship to more than one location. We will give you the option to pay reduced fees or even no fee based upon whether you send your shipment to a single location or multiple locations. So here they're even saying that even if you ship to multiple locations, we still might charge you fees. So again, you have to assess the shipping costs and what they're doing, in terms of fees on a case-by-case basis. These fees will be effective March 1st, so you have a little bit of time, and the fees will be charged 45 days after the products are received. So we can go to the inbound placement service fee page, which I actually believe I have that up here, to view the breakdown. And that's what I'd like to do. Before we dive into this next component here, let's look at the 2024 FBA inbound placement service fee, because this is something new and very interesting that traditionally, before all of this came out, if Amazon, the more units you would send into Amazon, the more likely it was going to be sent to one location. So that's why, the more volume sent to Amazon, the cheaper it was. And you had the option to use their inventory placement service where if your shipment was going to multiple locations, like for instance, we might ship some large oversized products where Amazon's going to disperse them to multiple DCs, you would have to pay this exorbitant rate for inventory placement fees, and it was never worth it. That's why it's important, to learn about some of the tips and tricks that seasoned Amazon sellers use, such as the 3x rule. Just mention with that is we're talking about the fees on Amazon, but this is important, guys. If you're running your business, and you're shipping products into Amazon, let's say, you have 10 units that you want to ship, right? We sell some items that are larger, oversized items, and Amazon might want to ship those to multiple DCs. So you have a shipment of 10 units and they're shipping it to 3 different locations. Well, if you actually, for us, we started an inventory lab most of the time. If you start that batch in inventory lab and tell them you are shipping, 3 times the amount that you're actually shipping, Amazon will actually now route a certain amount of those units to one location. So if you really want to ship 10, enter 30 units to ship, and then they actually might have 10 going to one location. So you can actually delete the other 2 shipments and then just send that 110 unit shipment. So that's a little trick there that you can use. You might have to do it by ×4, ×5, and play around with it until it works to get the desired quantity to one location. But that's something that you can use to get your products to go to one spot. So placing inventory closer to customers in multiple fulfillment centers across the country is critical for delivering products faster and at a lower cost. Again, we've established this, that Amazon's a shipping company. They want to get their products to customers faster. The inbound placement service, when you create a shipping plan, you can select one of 2 options: a premium service where you can send your inventory to a single receive center or FC, and Amazon will spread your inventory across your behalf for a fee. This is the one location. The fee may vary by inbound location, with higher fees for shipments sent to the West versus other parts of the country. That's interesting, as to why they would be increasing the fees and making it, more expensive to FCs on the West. I mean, for instance, we work with some companies on the West Coast that ship directly to Amazon on the West Coast so that we can save shipping, right? Rather than them shipping it from California all the way to us on the East Coast, they can actually ship it to one location right there in California. That's interesting that on the West, it's actually going to be, in some cases, a little bit more expensive with fees. Then they offer this discounted service: send your inventory to multiple inbound locations yourself, reduced fee or no fee. So we're going to have to kind of let this play out, guys. And I don't know, all the exact answers and what the best thing to do is right now, but it's something that we're going to learn as we go. And who knows, Amazon might modify this because these are some significant changes that they're making. If they get a lot of pushback from sellers, they might, tailor things that they originally said. I'm not sure how likely that is, but it is possible. Now, the premium or discounted service options will be available based on a few factors: quantities you have in your shipping plans. So from a general standpoint, the more inventory you send into Amazon, the better, because it's going to be cheaper for you. It's more likely to go to one location. Your existing inventory levels across our network and the location of customer demand. That's interesting. So they are actually pulling the location of customer demand into this whole criteria. So if a product actually sells better in the South, let's say, they might modify the premium or discounted service option based on that. Very interesting, guys. When you create a plan, you'll see the cost estimate for each inbound option, and you'll be charged, like we said, 45 days. So again, this is based on item size, weight, inbound placement service, and inbound location. So this is their inbound placement service fee schedule. So when we look at this, we can see that you have small standard size items, 16 ounces or less. They're actually going to charge 21 cents to 30 cents to a single location. And then, you guys can look at this yourselves, take a screenshot of it, look it up on Amazon. This is all information you can find. So with this, this is schedule. They're basing it, on size of the item. No surprise there. And then with multiple locations, receive a discount up to 100% based on the number of shipments. So again, we have to see just how that plays out with the multiple locations. And then this is their schedule for the large and bulky sized items. So like if you sell items that are, a little bit larger and oversized, this is quite significant fee increase that you're going to have to account for in your business. So, there's some frequently asked questions here. I'm not going to go through all this. I will go over this first one here: what we can do to avoid or reduce the inbound placement fee. You'll have the option to use their discounted inventory inbound placement service, where you pay a reduced fee or no fee for sending your inventory to multiple locations across the network. So again, trial and error. Nobody's saying that one way is the best way. Nobody's saying that, this is what you have to do, but consider the costs internally at your company. What more are you paying your employees? How much is that costing to actually, ship to multiple locations? Compare that with Amazon's fee increases and just let it play out. Guys, we don't have all the answers right now. This is very new, so we have to just continue to let this play out. On average, the second point here, they're going to decrease the FBA fulfillment fee rates for standard size products by 20 cents per unit and for large bulky size products by 61 cents per unit. So again, we're in this give and take situation with Amazon. They're now saying they're going to actually decrease the FBA fee, the fulfillment fee, by 20 cents per unit on average for standard size products. That's significant when we look at, the fee increases here. So if you sell a product that's 16 ounces or less and you're sending to one location at 20 cents, well, it's a wash, right? Because on average, they're decreasing it by 20 cents, but then they're charging you an extra 21 cents to ship to one location. So it's sort of this, it balances itself out. Now, you might even be able to save money when shipping it to multiple locations. So people say, it's Amazon's dead. It's impossible to make money. The fees are increasing every year. But on average, we go back to, again, here, on average, they're increasing the fees by 15 cents. That's not that much. Just being done in different ways, like this inbound placement fee. Another one, which we're going to look at, which is the actual level of inventory that you send into Amazon. So these new fees are going to start April 15th. So again, we have some time. The same date that the first inbound placement will begin to be charged. Products priced below $10 will continue to have an additional 77-cent discount on per unit fees. This goes back to when they changed their protocol with the small and light program. Amazon got rid of the small and light program, but they reduced the fees for products under $10. So they're constantly making these changes that we as sellers have to continue to stay up to date with and adapt. So if you have an item that's priced at $10.50, reduce that to $9.99 and you just saved yourself 27 cents in fees. So in addition, to reflect the cost savings when products can be shipped in their existing packaging, we will offer a fulfillment fee discount ranging from 4 cents to $1.32 depending on the item size and weight for eligible products in the ships in product packaging program. So this is important for those of you that sell product actually in their packaging, right? If Amazon ships the product in their packaging, meaning they're not shipping it in another box, an exterior box, you can actually save a little bit of money here. And we can take a look at what that is here. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, but you have to be enrolled in the ships and product packaging program. This is probably more so for private label sellers, maybe some wholesale sellers. If you have exclusives or things like that, you guys can get enrolled in this program. So read through this if you guys have products that might be able to ship in the actual packaging of the item. In addition to inbounding and placement, maintaining sufficient inventory levels also enables us to place inventory closer to customers across our network, reducing costs to fulfill orders in cases where you have low inventory levels. This drives transportation costs higher, and we will introduce fees to align with these underlying costs. This is important. Where your actions reduce our costs of fulfillment by maintaining healthy inventory levels, you will see lower fees for these items. Accordingly, we will make the following changes. So this is huge, guys. This is one component here that impacts our business, which is the low inventory level fee. Traditionally in wholesale, we hold actually in our business, just to maintain continuous cash flow, a little bit under a 30-day supply. Force us basically to increase that supply that we're holding. So we have to keep it more toward the 30 to 45-day supply in order to comply with this program. And I'm going to jump on another page in just a second in Amazon Seller Central of exactly how you guys can see which products you actually need to get above that level. Another super important component here is that this is going to impact those arbitrage sellers purchasing products and not replenishing them, or replenishing them in sporadic ways, right? If you're buying a product and you don't plan on selling it in the future, you just found 10 at a Walmart or a Marshall's, and you're probably not going to find it again, it's not going to impact you because you're just going to send in the 10, sell them, and you'll be good. It's that seller that continues to get replens, but it's not that consistent from, say, a Walmart or some store. And Amazon's going to hit you with their new low inventory level fee because you're unable to maintain sufficient supply. This also impacts wholesale and private label sellers too, because we as sellers don't always have control over the supply chain. Our manufacturers go out of stock, they're missing parts, there's shipping delays. This is challenging, right? This is a new structure that Amazon is implementing where we have to take a look at the products in our inventory and assess what percentage of items actually are going to be affected by this, and how can we make those changes in our supply chain procurement process in order to comply with the new guidelines that they are asking for. And again, why are they doing this? Well, when you have low inventory levels, it increases their transportation costs, and they just want to encourage constant availability of products to customers. So the more you can align yourself with that, the better you're going to be, and the more you're going to benefit from it in the fee reductions. So they're doing this for standard size products, and the fee applies if you carry consistently low levels of inventory relative to unit sales. So if you're selling a ton of units and you can't keep up with it, that's where you're going to sort of get hit with these new fees. This inhibits our ability to distribute products across our network, degrading shipping delivery speeds and increasing our shipping costs. Sellers can avoid this fee by maintaining more than 4 weeks of inventory, just what I said, a little bit more than 30 days supply, probably that 30 to 45 days is the sweet spot relative to the sales. But again, it's tough because there's seasonal items, right? Amazon has to take into account that seasonality of the product. And you might have bought, like us, a bunch of items for Christmas that you have just sold through and you don't plan on replenishing them. Well, that's not necessarily going to impact you because you're not replenishing them until next year. So you might see some products in your inventory below that rate, right? Below their 28-day historical average rate, which we'll get in a second, that are Q4 or Christmas items. Well, those are not going to affect it. But if it's your everyday replens that are below those items, that's where you want to take a look, see how you can send in more inventory. And they're starting this April 1st. So let's jump over to the low inventory level. So low inventory level fee. So we talked about what they're going to do. Now, the low inventory level fee will only apply to a product's inventory levels if the historical demand, also known as historical days of supply, and we're going to dive into Seller Central and look at that in a second, is below 28 days. We will only charge the low inventory level fee when both the long-term historical days of supply last 90 days and short-term historical days of supply last 30 days are below the 28 days 4-week average. So you don't necessarily have to concern yourself so much with each of those details. Just all you have to do is go to Amazon Seller Central, go to inventory, go to FBA inventory here and look at this column. What you're going to do here is look at the historical days of supply and click on that to organize it from lowest to highest. I just did it from highest to lowest. Click it again to organize it from lowest to highest, and look at the products you're carrying and what percentage of those below 28. And if you see this is below 28 and it's a continuous replen item, that's an item is going to be subject to their low level inventory fees. Tell you on the right here, they tell you what the minimum level is that they want versus how many you have on hand. So you guys see in here a lot of items that I have that are actually below this level. Well, one, we just got out of Q4, so that's what most of these items are. So they're not really impactful to my business. But I will tell you, there are some items in here that do go below that level. Oftentimes, there's a reason for it, right? It's either seasonal or we're unable to cure it from our supplier, meaning that, they're out of stock, they're back ordered. So going through this is going to be crucial for you in your business and determining out of all these items that Amazon's saying we are below the 28-day historical day of supply, what are the items we can control and what are the items we can't? And what are the items that don't make sense to go above that? The seasonal items that you don't plan on restocking for another year, right? So that's incredibly important, and aligning yourself with this is going to be where you want to be. So that's the low inventory level fee. So what they're going to do, actually, again, we go back to this give and take. To enable you to carry sufficient inventory levels, they're going to reduce the non-peak, meaning January through September, peak October through December. We're going to reduce the non-peak monthly storage fees for standard size products by an average of 9 cents per cubic foot. So again, they might be charging here. They're asking you to send in more inventory, or we're going to, charge you a low-level inventory fee, but they're also reducing the fee of carrying inventory. So on average, they're reducing it by 9 cents a cubic foot and 87 cents a cubic foot from an average, right? So they're reducing it by 9 cents from an average of 87 to an average of 78 from January through September. And then non-standard size, so large, bulky, et cetera, is going to be unchanged. This change will start April 1. So this is a crucial change, but if you can change how you run your business just a little bit and make those tweaks and adjust with Amazon, you're going to be in a perfectly fine position and align yourself with that, maybe a 15% increase on average. And even some sellers might benefit from this whole thing, right? We will also provide following new or expanded services and benefits. And I'll just run through some of this. The focus of this video is to go the fee schedule, but we can, just touch on some of this. So they're actually going to reduce the referral fee per apparel products. So for those folks that sell clothing and apparel, the item is priced below $20. For items priced under 15, they're going to decrease the referral fees from 17% to 5%. And just real quick, guys, when we say referral fees, there are two types of fees on Amazon on the per unit level. There are referral fees, which come right off the top, and on average, they're about 15% in each category of products. There are some categories like automotive that are 12% and some categories that are even less than 12%. Most categories are a 15% referral fee off the top, right? So if you sell an item for $100, they're taking 15 right out of that. And then you have the pick and pack fee, which is their fulfillment fee. So here we're talking about the referral fee on Amazon, that amount off the top. So for items priced under $15, we will decrease referral fees from 17% to 5%. That's big. So if you sell a clothing item and it's selling for under $15, they're actually reducing those fees from 17% to 5%. So you're going to get a lot of savings there. Items priced between 15 and 20, they're going to decrease the referral fee from 17% to 10%. Other referral fees will remain unchanged. And these start January 15th. So they've already kicked in. We introduced a new lowering price structure for Amazon Vine. So Amazon Vine, for those of you that are not familiar, it's just basically you're giving away product to customers in exchange for reviews. It helps, new items, private label products, etc. So if you guys are in private label and maybe you're in the business of launching white label wholesale, take a look at the reduction in fees for Vine and some of the pricing structures there. We will expand benefits as part of the US FBA new selection program. I'm doing a 10% rebate on sales of eligible new to FBA parent products. So this is, some private label, white label stuff. Not going to get into too much detail there. They're introducing updated rates and new benefits for supply chain by Amazon. Again, doesn't totally apply to most of us, but read through this if it applies to you. We are also making annual updates to storage utilization, surcharges, removal, disposal, aged inventory prep. So you guys know Amazon charges a fee for everything they do. To return that item back to your location, returns, there's a return processing fee. And actually what they're doing here is they are applying this return processing fee to apply to high return rate products in all categories, excluding apparel and shoes, which is good because anybody selling apparel and shoes knows that there is a much higher return rate on average. This fee will address the operational costs of returns and reduce waste. So the return processing fee will only apply to products that have the highest return rates relative to other products in their category and will apply starting June 1. So they're waiting all the way until June 1 to start this. Existing return processing fees for apparel and shoes will remain unchanged on average. So we can check out the return processing fee here. Not going to go into too much detail here, but we can look and see that what the return processing fee is, if you get a return on an item, what Amazon is going to charge you to process that return, right? And it's an exchange with Amazon, right? You would be paying your employees internally to process a return, handle the customer service and logistics and things of that nature. But instead, you're giving it to Amazon. You're saying, hey, you guys do it and charge me a fee to do it. In my opinion, that is a much more scalable route than the other way, right? That's why so many sellers use FBA versus FBM, because with FBM, you have to process all of your own returns and handle the customer service. So we jump back here. And again, that pretty much concludes the letter that they've written here. Again, summarize it all. average of 15-cent increase for most sellers. Some will benefit in a reduction. They're doing this inbound placement fee. They are decreasing the fulfillment fees for standard size products on average. Again, give and take. They're reducing fees here and increasing fees there. This ships and product packaging program, there's some changes there that you might want to make note of if you have a product that's eligible for that. Low level inventory fee, another big change by Amazon, going to affect those sellers that carry less than a 30-day supply. So do your best to procure your products and keep that 30 to 45-day supply. In order to balance that out, give and take with Amazon, they are reducing the non-peak monthly storage fees as well as the peak monthly storage fees by an average of 9 cents per cubic foot so that you can maintain a little bit more inventory in that 30 to 45-day range. Some other benefits here, if you're an apparel seller, your referral fees are going to reduce. Take some notes there, and there is going to be a slight increase in the return processing fee. So getting products like, for instance, in the grocery category, grocery gourmet food, the return rate, you can't return those kinds of products. And because of that, you're not going to be impacted as much by this. So taking an assessment of Amazon's changes that they're making, guys, they do this every year. And let's answer that question. Is it too late to sell on Amazon? What does this mean for you? This means that, like anything else in business, and especially with selling on Amazon, you have to adapt. And if you are able to adapt with what Amazon is doing and align yourself with the direction that they are going in order to provide inventory to customers constantly at an affordable price and deliver that inventory efficiently to those customers as fast as possible, and you're able to align yourself with what they're trying to do, you are going to not see much of an increase at all and even benefit from the fee increases. So for those of you that are ranting and raving about how crazy these new fees are, take an assessment and watch this video. Go through the Amazon letter and actually look at the increases that they are doing in the categories and what it means for you. So rather than getting mad at Amazon and saying, oh, it's too late to sell on Amazon, oh, they're constantly taking money, think about all the services and logistics that Amazon provides us by handling the customer service, by handling the return process, shipping, etc. All stuff that would require manpower and costs for you to scale without Amazon. So it's this give and take with them. Take note of this, new sellers, especially if you're in arbitrage with the low inventory level thing. If you're in wholesale, procure your products in that 30 to 45-day supply range, and you will be good if you can align it with 28-day historical moving average. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to jump down and hit that like button. It really helps out the videos in the algorithm. Hit that subscribe button as well and notification bell if you want to stay up to date on all future content. And if you guys love this content and you want to learn more, see more about how I'm running my business, jump over to Instagram and follow BradSherman_4. That's my new Instagram account. I go into about how I run my business on a day-to-day basis. Jump into the free private Facebook group, Amazon FBA Wholesale Mastermind. This is Amazon Ops Facebook group. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you next time.